I had to stop fighting against time and I had to start looking at time as my partner. Hi friends, Amy Walker here and welcome to the CEO Spot. This is another one of our business tips and this is really kind of a life tip, not just a business tip. So here you go. You, my friend, have got to stop fighting against time. I used to be the worst at time management. I was an entrepreneur from the time I started my first business when my oldest child was 4 months old. I want to say he was about 4 months old. And so I had all these kids. I was always pregnant doing business. I had a house to manage. In the early years, I didn't really have a lot of help in terms of household help. My husband was working and going to school. And so it was this constant juggling act. And I remember thinking that the key was going to be finding the magic schedule. That if I could just find the perfect schedule, I could get everything done. And so I would color code these elaborate schedules. Each day of the week would be laid out perfectly. And on paper, everything worked, and it worked like marvelously well. Like, whoa, this is so great. And I would do it for about 4 days. And then come day number 5, it started to all fall apart. And then I would beat myself up because I just was so undisciplined and I just couldn't manage my time and I was just the worst. And that was my cycle. So I realized after several years that I just was a bad time manager. That was what the lesson taught me. You're just bad at time management. Okay, that's ridiculous. I'm amazing at time management. I feel like I am an epic time manager. But what I learned, and this is the key thing that made the difference, is I had to stop fighting against time and I had to start looking at time as my partner. And it's really different. So one time I was meeting with a mentor of mine and he said to me, I was telling him all these things. Well, I have this idea, but I just don't have time to do it. And I want to do this, but there just hasn't been time. And he just said to me, sounds like you're fighting with time. And I thought about that. That's a weird thing to say. Who says that? Who fights against time? What does that even look like? I don't even know what it looks like to fight against something that's just this idea that's around me. And so I went home and I thought, okay, if time was a person, because I can understand fighting against a person, right? So if time was a person and I was fighting against this person, and I had a relationship with this person, what does our relationship look like? And here's what I realized my relationship with time looked like, and I encourage you to do the same activity. If time was a person, at that point in my life, time would have knocked on my door and I would have looked at it and said, that's not even enough. Like, you're literally not even enough for me. Ugh, I guess come inside. And then I would have tried to control time, like completely control it, until a few days later when we had a complete breakdown and then time would abandon me. And then I would go, see, time is not my friend. It is never for me. It is always against me. That was my relationship with time. Now I'm sure you can understand why I was always 5 minutes late, why I could never seem to get done the things in my to-do list each day, why I always felt like time was the bad guy. In fact, if we're being honest, time and money were both bad guys and they ganged up together to make my life miserable. And so that was my relationship with time and money. So I realized that I've got to change this story that I have about time if I'm ever going to learn to be productive. And you know what? I need to be productive. It's not just a desire, it is a strong need. I have a lot in my life. My life is full. It's full of kids, it's full of church, it's full of family, it's full of business, it's full of meaningful activities that I want to be there. And a lot of times what we do when we get to that point where we're maxed and we're struggling with time management is we do one of two things. We try to force our will over time, Or we just back off and we do less and we think, well, I'll just do less. That will be the key to managing my time. I just won't do as much. But that's not really ideal. So I'm going to give you some time management strategies that are completely unconventional and that you're going to listen to and go, Amy, that's weird. But I'll tell you what I tell my kids every time they tell me that I'm weird, which is frequently. I will tell you, I would rather be weird and happy and productive and doing the things that I want to do than be normal and I can't get to everything because I'm always too busy, always overstressed, there's not enough time, and I'm always late to everything. I am actually early almost all the time. Like, I get 5 kids ready for church on Sunday and we're there early. Isn't that crazy? And my husband's usually gone because he's usually out traveling and speaking at some other congregation. So it's me, and I get them there, and we're on time. Now, they may not always have their hair combed. In fact, they rarely have their hair combed, but that's on them, not on me. I tell them to do it. So here's my weird time management strategies that are going to change the way you think about time. Number 1 is I want you to think about if you had a relationship with time, what would it look like? And then you're going to write a makeup letter to time. You are going to apologize to time for the way that you have abused it or wasted it or tried to control it or not appreciated it or just straight up avoided it. So you're going to write an apology letter to time and then restate what you want that relationship to be. And start inviting time to be your friend. Start inviting time to be your partner because time is one of my greatest resources. It is my greatest partner for creation. Whatever life I want to live, I don't know how much time I have to build this life, but I do know that I want to make the moments count. So create what you want that relationship to be like. My second strategy for you is to come up with some really powerful declarations around time. So my very first declaration with time was, I have a strong relationship with time and money. The Lord blesses me freely with both because I use them to bless the lives of others. And so every time I'd start feeling like I just don't have enough time, I would stop and I would say, I have a strong relationship with time and money. The Lord blesses me freely with both because I use them to bless the lives of others. And that helped to really start to shift the way that I would feel. So instead of looking at it and saying, I don't have enough time, I would look at the day and I would say, okay, here's how much time I have. What am I going to do with this time? How do I want to, if time's going to show up on my doorstep, what do we want to do together today? What are we creating? What are we building? What are we going to accomplish? And that made a huge shift that every time I would start to go to the old time dynamic, I could pull myself back in with those really powerful words that I would have inside of my mind. My third time management strategy is that I'm going to recommend that you stop fighting against the natural flow of your body and trying to pigeonhole yourself into something and start working with your natural flow. So for example, I woke up this morning at 4:30 a.m. and my brain was like, let's go, it's the day. My body was like, give me another hour and I'll be good to go. But like, I'm a morning person. Now at 9 o'clock at night, my brain shuts off and I am literally not smart anymore. I can't think of words. I can't remember facts or details. My brain is like, it's 9 and we're done. And that is just the flow of my body. It always has been. Even when I was in college, I could not pull all-nighters. I couldn't work late at night, but I could wake up at 4 a.m. every single day and I could get my homework done. So that's just the way that I'm wired. I need to honor that. So in the morning is when I plan my creative thinking. It's when I plan the projects that require the most from me. I sometimes take a power nap in the afternoon because Amy's brain needs a little recharge. I don't, like on Friday, and I've been this way since I was a kid, a Friday in school was the most pointless day to me because the whole day I'm sitting there like, I wonder what's going to be on Full House tonight. I wonder if Urkel's going to finally, totally tells you how old I am, child of the 90s, but I was always thinking of what's happening. What am I going to do with my friends this weekend? I wonder if we're going anywhere. And so I couldn't focus. I still struggle with focus on Fridays. Friday for me is a day that a lot of times I take off to honor my flow. But when I am working, I'm going to be working on something that's fun for me, a writing project, a video project, something that's creative that makes me feel like I want to be plugged in on Friday. But if I'm on a Friday, if I'm sitting there and I'm cranking through a to-do list, it's not real productive. It's not the best version of myself that I bring to the table. It's just cranking through a to-do list. Now, Mondays, on the other hand, I'm a fresh start kind of a girl. I like the energy that a Monday brings. And so historically, I overloaded my Mondays. Now, I did it a little bit too much, and then I did end up with Monday burnout. So now what I do is Monday is my ease into the weekday. So I do things that are, in fact, all of Monday morning, I just work on things that just involve me. It's a lot of my planning for my business. It's a lot of business strategy and growth. It's some creation. And then I meet with my team. And then by Tuesday, I'm into client work, but I don't meet with clients. I don't do sales calls. I don't do any of that on Monday because I need that day to get ahead of the week and to also kind of ease into people. So know what your natural flow is. And don't create a schedule that works against it. It's so much harder. If you'll create a schedule that works well for you, you'll get so much more done. Okay, I love helping people create a stronger relationship with time because all of a sudden those things that you've been working so hard to force together, they start naturally flowing. My very last piece of advice to you, and this should probably be a whole other video on its own at some point, but pay attention to your integrity to yourself. A lot of times we have a much higher level of integrity with other people. If I tell you I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. But if I tell me that I'm not eating candy bars today, and then all of a sudden someone offers me a candy bar, right? It's that whole integrity to yourself. Being a collaborator with time and partnering with time requires high levels of integrity to yourself because if you say you're going to do something, you've actually got to do it. So there you have it. I'm going to give you a challenge with this one. I want you to choose at least one of these ideas. I want you to try it, and I want you to tell me how it's going for you. So please like and subscribe to the page so you can get more yummy goodness for how to grow your business and share with others. And if you haven't done it yet, go ahead and join us in our private Facebook community, the CEO Spot, where you can share and collaborate and get great ideas with other business owners that are out there. Thanks so much. I hope you have a great day.